The party was lame to me.
Theory.
Theory.
This is the fun.
Yeah.
So they're trying to track him down. Mora's at the party.
I just want to say, you are never allowed to pick the freaking theme for anything again. Okay. Albuquerque, fire truck. We're just yelling out words now? What's going on here? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of BS Drunk Movie Reviews. This is a weekly podcast, and we do upload the video version of this to our YouTube channel, so be sure to check us out there. My name is Matt, and as always, I'm being joined by my sister, Vetta.
Hi, guys.
Hey, you. And on this episode, we have a special guest, Ryan. Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to review this movie. And that movie is This Is the End.
Woo.
Yep, this is Ryan's choice. But before we get started on reviewing this fun movie, we're going to ask the most important question of the night. And that is, what are you drinking? And we'll start with you, Ryan, since you're our guest.
So get this. Final absolution that I have. I got it. Yeah, right? Am I not? Yeah, I'm prepared. Final absolution. From Warren, Michigan at Dragon's Mead. Spencer is a friend of ours. He runs it. But what a better name.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Excellent.
All right, Vetta, what are you drinking?
I am drinking the Rapture.
Nice.
Ooh, that might be better. That might be better.
What's in that?
So it has rum. I'm gonna say it wrong.
Just say it.
Campari
Yes.
and vermouth, sweet vermouth. And then I did not do orange bitters because I not
hate
like
bitters. I hate
bitters at all. And
At
then it
all.
has Camtro in it as well, which is like an orange liqueur.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I am drinking what is called a last word. And this has got gin, green Catarrso, and I didn't have any maraschino luxardo. I don't know if that's how you say it. But so I just put maraschino or grenadine in it, and then lime juice. That's why it's supposed to be like this green, but it's this red because I put the maraschino. I put the grenadine instead of that maraschino luxardo. I don't even know how to say that. It doesn't matter. Anyways, all I know is it's delicious.
And I do
Okay.
have a backup drink because
what's
mine's
your
going
backup
down
drink?
really quick. So I do have a rum and Coke as well.
I have a whiskey and Dr. Pepper.
Because I won't lie, this is when I made this
And then
recipe,
I got my
I
White
made
Claw.
your pussy ass drink, yeah.
Hey,
when I
you
made
drink
this, it
15
made-
of these fuckers, you'll be feeling it, okay?
Oh,
So stop
only
it.
like a cooler,
15.
you know?
No,
Yeah.
oh my God. If I drink a rum and Coke, if I put enough rum in it,
I'm
I'll
just saying,
be
these are
faster.
delicious, and if you drink enough of them, you'll be like, hey, girlfriend,
Yeah. Oh, so it turns you gay is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
that too. I mean, that too. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like 1.5 in because this recipe
That's what she
made
said.
more. Yeah. No.
All right, let's get into reviewing this movie. This is the end. In Hollywood, James actor Franco is throwing a party with a slew of celebrity pals. Among those in attendance are his buddies Jonah Hill, Seth Rogen, Baruchel, Danny McBride, and Craig Robinson. Suddenly, an apocalypse of the biblical proportions erupts, causing untold carnage among Tinseltown elite and trapping Franco's party in his home. As the world they knew disintegrates outside, cabin fever and dwindling supplies threaten to tear the six friends apart. Dun dun dun. Okay, so before we get into reviewing this movie, I just want to get overall when you first saw this movie and when you first saw it, what'd you think about it? Ryan, what about you? When did you first see it and what'd you first think about it?
So the crazy part was it came out in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And so all I saw, like I was in Vegas going to college and stuff, and all I saw was like the billboards and stuff. I'm like, okay, this is another rom-com by Pineapple Express guys.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize till like 3 or 4 years later, it's them being them. And I think it's so cool to do, but I hadn't seen it probably. I think I watched it for the first time like on DirecTV or whatever. Like it was crazy. I'm like, oh wait, they're being themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's nuts. It's I've never seen done before.
Right on. And Vetta, what about you? Oh wait, real quick, Ryan. Overall, when you first saw it, what'd you think about it? Sorry.
Loved it, and had really low expectations. Like I'm like, okay, we're gonna do like a zombie thing right now, and then we're gonna use all like the biggest characters in Hollywood. But the minute they're themselves, I'm like, okay, I like it.
Right on. All right, Betta, when did you first see it and what did you first think about it?
I think this was like we got it through Redbox or something when
Mhm.
it came out,
Mm.
and we
Oh,
watched
Redbox, you're so old.
yeah, I know.
I
Well, you got to remember, in 2013, 2014, I still had itty bitties running around. So
get it.
going
I get it.
out cost more. Like a babysitter for my brood of children cost more than going to the movies, than the actual date. So we did a lot of in-home activities. Yeah. But the first time I saw it, I was like, oh man, this is so stupid. But then I watched it again and I was like, God, I love this because it's so stupid. Like, you know, and it makes you laugh. And at the same time, when you're laughing, you're like, why the frick am I laughing? This is so fucking stupid because it's funny, because it's so stupid. I love it.
Right
My
on.
wife was like you. She was like, so she started watching it. I'm like, hey, I have to do this movie review. And she, the whole time, it's dumb, it's stupid, I can't believe it. But I'm like, you're not leaving. Like, she's like, wait, what happens next? Like,
Yeah.
who's so into it.
Yeah.
Right on.
It's like a train wreck. You can't
Yeah.
not watch it and you
Right
can't
on.
not laugh and you get mad at yourself for laughing, but you love it at the same time.
Right on. Okay, so I first heard about this because Seth Rogen was on the Howard Stern show and he had talked about this movie that he was writing and they were filming and everything. And I thought it was sounded really great. Like he's like, "Oh yeah, we play each other, we play ourselves at the end of the world." And then I didn't see it in movie theaters. I waited till it came out, and then I think I rent like you that I think I rented it somewhere and everything and saw it. And I thought it was hilarious the first time I saw it. The second time, it wasn't as funny because I knew it was going to happen, but I was like, it's fine. Okay, let's get started on reviewing this movie because I don't know about you, but I'm quite excited about it. Okay, so this movie starts out where Jay Baruchel, I don't know how to say his name.
Jay.
I'm just gonna call
Canadian.
him
Yeah.
Jay. Yeah, ugh, gross. So he shows up at the airport and Seth Rogen is waiting on him, and I love how everybody is like, hey, Seth Rogen and everything. And it's like, hello and everything.
And TMZ's there. I
Yeah,
love it.
they're like, do your laugh. Ha
Do
ha
the
ha
laugh.
ha. Yeah, do the laugh, do the laugh. Do the roar. And so then they're in the car and he's like, oh, we need to go to what does he say?
Carl's Jr.
Carl's Jr., which have you guys ever been to a Carl's Jr.?
I have.
No.
It's like
I have not.
Hardee's. It's just like
Oh my
Hardee's.
God, I love
They're owned by the
Hardee's.
same company.
Oh, I've never been to a Carl's Jr., but I was like, oh, I wonder what it tastes like.
I
But if it
haven't
tastes like,
eaten fast food in like 2 years, so
gotcha. So yeah, it's been like 2 months for me. Anyways, so they end up going because Seth Rogen does that LA thing where he's like, I'm on a
Oh my God.
cleanse. And you're
Hmm.
like, okay, you're on a cleanse, fatso. And so, but then he's like, but you still like do weed and drink. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, what kind of fucking cleanse is that?
remember he's not a
Yeah,
psychopath.
yeah, he's
Come
at
on. He's
exactly,
just doing a
exactly.
cleanse.
Yeah. I love when they go back to Seth Rogen's place and they did like he's like got a smorgasbord of bullshit on the table. He's got he's got Kush, he's got Starburst. I love how he put the he's like it's your name Jay spelled out in J's. I was like that's clever. I was like that is a friend right there.
Right?
There was some stuff on the table that they didn't explain. Like there was this. I wrote down. There's this little thing of like what looks like orange pills. I was like, what are those? Share these. Come on,
Yeah,
come on.
he's clearly got all of his favorite drugs and all of his favorite munchies type situation. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm like you. I wish they would have explained a little bit more, like, and made it funny, like when they were doing it, like, cheers,
cheers.
Yeah.
type of
Mhm.
thing.
So. And then they play well, I think they say 8 hours of video games, and they're just like bullshitting. There was one thing they did where they got on the floor, and I was all like, and they like lock their legs together. I don't know if you like know what this is. I was like, what bullshit challenge is this? I want to know now. And so I tried to look it up. I couldn't find out what it was and everything, but I definitely was all like, I was like, what's going on here? So then. Oh, Ryan, was there anything you wanted to say about this part that you wrote down or you noticed in this part where they're hanging out at Seth Rogen's house?
I just think it's really cool to like imagine what it is like to pick somebody up at the airport. But then I'm like, do you really go to the airport to pick up your friends? Like,
That's a great point.
There's no way, right? Like,
yeah, that's a great point.
Well, and if you do you actually go in and wait by baggage claim? Because,
right?
I mean, parking at an airport is insane. No one's parking and getting out of the car anymore. They're like, tell me what door you're at and I'll pull up and you can hop in as I slow down, you know?
Yeah, and I've been to LAX. Like, I picked up my parents and nobody knows who I am.
Humble brag.
Like, there it is. It's 45 minutes. It's insane. Like, there's no way Seth Rogen, like, by the way, I became this pessimist because I've been listening to the show now. Because now, like, every time there's something happens, you two are like, that would never happen. And now I was reviewing the show and I'm like, that would never happen. Like,
right on.
Beforehand, I was all excited. I was like, he would never go, like, park his car,
right?
Get my friend. Like, there's no way.
Because even then, like, how often do you pick somebody up, or how often do they just Uber?
Oh, never,
like,
never.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Or if you live in a city, like, you take public transportation. Like,
even in 2013, I was like, 2013 is that different? But no, like, there's no way.
No, because they were way more stricter too at the time of going into an airport. Because I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah. So that was my big takeaway from the airport. I'm like, he would never do that.
Never do it. Yeah, I agree. Because he's too busy making his own like weed bowls and everything.
Right.
Okay.
And plus, like you walk. It's like when Britney Spears had her meltdown and she went to Thank you. And she went to Starbucks. She's like, I can never go to Starbucks. And it's like, well, no kidding, you can't go to Starbucks. Like Seth Rogen, you can't go to the airport and go pick up your friend anymore. Like I think they know. Yeah. So
no one's gonna know. They're gonna know.
No one's gonna know. Yeah, exactly. So that was my big takeaway.
So they end up going to this party thrown by James Franco. And I love the conversation before they go to the party, how Jay's all like, Jonah Hill hates me. He's like, Jonah doesn't hate you. He talks about you all the time. He's like, Jay's so awesome. Jay's great. Which we find out later he really does fucking hate.
Yeah, he's like, he brings you up in conversation just to remind us how much he loves you.
Yeah, exactly. So I loved that whole thing because that was just great. So they go to James Franco's house, which, by the way, I love how like they pull up. And I don't know about you guys, but like as far as architecture goes, like I'm not a modern type of girl. This house fucking is ugly to me. I was like, it just looks like a bunch of boxes on top of each other. But to each their own, you know. I love how James Franco was like, I helped design it. And I was like, oh, I can tell, fucker. Okay, so I love how they knock on the door and then James Franco opens up and he lets them in and everything. And I love how he's like up on the mantle or whatever. There are two paintings and one says Seth Rogen and one says James Franco. I was like, first off, those aren't paintings. Second off, like who fucking did that? A 5-year-old? You did that? Get the fuck out of here! Like,
did you not know James Franco is a legit artist?
Yeah,
like,
I did know that, but he's not. He's not.
Because when we did the movie Why Him, like way back in like seasons ago, all the art in that movie was actually done by him, and it was
So I did some deep dive in. He made those paintings for this movie.
Those aren't paintings. Those are fingerprints.
Whatever you want.
Those are.
You've been to Subway. Have you been to Subway? Did they make you a sandwich?
That's not art.
That's not art.
That's not art. That's not art. I did love that speech though. Then you love art, and it's like, get the fuck out of here.
I literally went to Subway like the other day, and I was like, pickles, and she puts them on. I'm like, oh, that's 6 instead of 7. What are we doing here? Like,
right?
We have art now. I'm pretty excited.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of that, okay. So one time, I went to before I was gonna go to a strip club, right? And this woman that I work with, she was like, stripping is art. I was like, that's not art. That's not art. Okay, that's just some single moms trying to make a living. It's fine. I've got $5 for them.
Okay. I've heard it.
In once. Okay. So I love how
their moms and dad put a lot of money into those dance classes for them to be able to straddle that bar.
Yeah, listen, you can take classes just for the pole, okay?
I know you can.
And everything.
Done it.
Just for the pole. Anyways,
I've heard those poles rotate, by the way. Is that true?
Yes.
All right. Somebody owes me $10 because I told people
they do.
They rotate.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and you can
At
slip
least
them
the
into their
ones in the class. I
G-string.
took a class in Las Vegas.
You took a class? Oh, you're
Uh-huh.
such a whore.
My
Okay.
sister-in-law and I did. It was like her. Like,
Ew. Ew, you're gross. Okay.
it came with our tickets to go see Thunder from Down Under.
Ew.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful.
All right. All right. Anyways, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Anyways, okay. So I love how Jay was all like, "You're gonna leave me at the party," and Seth Rogen's like, "I'm not gonna leave you at the party," and then he leaves him at the party. I was like, "We've all been there before,
Every
my
time.
dude. We've all been there." Okay. So I love how Mindy Kaling's all like, she walks up and she's like, you know, when she's like her chubby little self at this point in time, which
Yeah.
which I don't know, but that Ozempic made her like super skinny. I was like, look at you and everything. So I love how she was all like, before the night is over, I'm gonna sleep with Michael Sarah. And I was like, Michael, really? Okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine. I love sleeping with fetuses also.
I don't get the Michael Cera vibe. And I'm sure it's out there. I just don't get it. I
Yeah,
don't.
and one thing I wanted to point out because I wrote it in my notes was that okay, so Michael Cera smacks Rihanna on the ass, right? And she then smacks him back and she's like, "Don't touch my bumper." Seth Rogen on the Howard Stern show, he said that in Barbados, that's what they call somebody's ass, a bumper. And I was like, "Oh, look at that. What a useless piece of information." Anyways, so so then we get the part where Jonah Hill comes up and he's like, "Oh, Jay," and everything. I was like, "Oh, you're such a fucking Hollywood bullshitter." Like he's all like, "Oh, I missed you," and all this bullshit. I was like, "Oh, get the fuck out of here, fatso." Like nobody's believing your
Yeah,
bull.
but that was back in his chubby day too. Apparently, he was nicer when he was chubbier too.
Yeah, he
not,
was.
Not to go like on a tangent. Have you seen the Netflix where he talks to like the therapist for like it's like
No.
8 episodes?
No.
It's so like
I was gonna watch
that.
that. I was gonna watch that, but I just kept living my life.
Yeah, it was bad. Somebody owes me 4 hours because
Yeah,
that's what it was. It was literally like Jonah Hill's playing himself talking to a therapist. It was really
right on.
Not for me. One minute.
So I just want to say, so this whole, you guys come in with this whole party thing, but like the whole vibe, I'm going to tell you my favorite part, and then I want you guys to like explain your favorite part, if there is a favorite part, and then I want to go through a couple other things if you don't mention them. So my personal favorite part was when what's his face slides open the bathroom door and
Jay.
yeah, and Michael Cera is getting a BJ and he's getting
Rim.
a rim job, okay? Which we've all been there before, am I right? High five. No.
Thank you, Vetta, for knowing those things. That's
Right,
great.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
no, it's totally good. Listen, so hey, listen, don't knock it till you try it. I'm just saying. Yeah, because it feels real good, you know what I'm saying?
I know about that.
Yeah, you know, and he's like pow, 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 bring it to the front, pow, pow, you know what I'm saying?
I like how
that
he had
chocolate
a
cream
Capri
pie. Yeah, oh my god, that was my favorite part where he goes, "Who wants a little sippy sip?" and then he's
eye contact with Jay the whole time. He's like, what's she taking? You hear her sipping out of the Capri Sun.
All right, I have another
eye contact
story.
is
I have another
so
story.
aggressive.
So
It's so funny because like my wife saw that, she's like, "That's gross." I'm like, "Well, they probably would like a sip. Like that was very nice."
Yeah, exactly. Get the taste out.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't taste that bad. Anyways, so I have another story. Okay, so on the Howard Stern show, there was this comedian. I don't remember her name. She was on the last comic standing or whatever, but she's got red hair. Anyway, so she was telling this story about how she was at a Hollywood party, right? And she did this exact same thing, except it was Lance Armstrong instead of Michael Cera. Yeah. And the thing was, she had to come out and say, this story is not true, because she was almost sued by Lance Armstrong about the story. I was like, you know that shit is true. You know it's true. Lance Armstrong was getting his booty hole eaten out, which, I mean, like, listen, don't knock it till you try it. Anyways, okay, so I'm just saying. All right, so was there any part of this party that was my personal favorite part? Was there any part of this party that was your favorite part, Ryan?
Yeah, so the part I loved a lot was the fact that like they're all who they're actually the actors and stuff like that, and they all seem to get along, and like Jay just hates Jonah Hill, and I'm just like, how does this happen? And I don't want to get too far ahead, but literally the part where he's looking for his cell phone, and then he gets captured by like and then he's like, it's right here. How embarrassing! I'm sure I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but
you're
fine. God. It's so funny. Like,
yeah, so funny. So funny.
It's so good. But then also, like, we live in Michigan. I'm like, So is that really going on in bathrooms? Like if I open up a LA bathroom and everybody's like, yeah, it's fine, that's what they do.
Probably.
Oh, that when he blows the coke in McLovin's face, he's like, what does coke
Yeah,
smell
right.
like?
Yeah,
and
right.
McLovin's like, I've never done
That
this
drugs me.
before.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, then you're welcome because this is the best shit you can get.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That was so good.
Well, what
Better.
he's like, oh my god, I'm having a panic attack. Like it reminded me of like freshman year of college, like the first time you try like drugs from not drugs, marijuana, from like somebody randomly, and you're like, oh my god, I'm losing it. It's really funny. It's
Right
really
on. Betta, what was your favorite part of this movie?
Well, I liked all of those parts as well, but
Go ahead.
I
Sorry.
like when Jay needs to get cigarettes and he goes and asks Seth if he's going to go with him and he holds up the joint and he goes, I'll be ready to go in this much time. I'm like, I'm like, I get that response. That's something I would say, let me finish this drink as I'm pouring a new one.
Right. Yeah. No, that's so good. That's so good. Okay, so I did want to touch because you guys brought up a lot of fun stuff. So I did want to bring up the one part of the party that I thought was personally weird. And that was when hold on, what's the black guy's name in this movie? Hold on.
Craig Robinson.
Yeah, Craig Robinson.
The Office.
When he's when he's playing the piano, he's like,
your panties off.
Yeah, take your panties off. Take your panties off. I was like, this part to me was weird because I wouldn't play along. I'd be like, this is no fun. I'm like, I don't want to play this game. Like, you can't even sing, fucker, and everything. So what did you guys think about this? Because this went on for a while. Like I was like, this part. I was like, if it was me at this party, I'd be like, this is weird. And Franco's getting way into it. Like way into it.
Well, and Jay rolls his eyes and does go outside because he's like, this is stupid.
Right.
Like, I feel like even with Me Too movement that happened like 2015, 2016, I'm like, this was weird back then. Like, what? Like, okay, this is stuff. And then all of a sudden you just think of Sierra the whole time in the bathroom, getting eaten out in both ways. You're like, okay,
that is so hot.
Hollywood. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a weird one.
Yeah. Okay, so then Jay and Seth Rogen, they end up going to a gas station, right? And I love how when they go in, Seth Rogen's like, "Oh, they have such a great selection of so many delicious snacks." I'm like, "Well, you're an actor. Choose all of them, fucker. Like you need
to the snacks. Well,
get all I'm like, what I think
thought of that.
I'm like because I think he gets a Snickers or something. I'm like, why don't you
Milky Way?
I thought that was Franco's Milky Way.
That's Franco. That's later.
Yeah, but they never actually get the items from the convenience store.
That is a good point because shit goes down.
But he does pick up a Milky Way and show. At least I think it was.
Yeah, and I love how he's all like, "Hey, will you buy this for me?" Because that cashier is really mean, and I have anxiety or some shit like that. I'm like, you fucking pussy! You can't even buy a fucking Snickers at the gas station because somebody might be mean to you. Get the fuck out of here. So then Jay's all like, "Okay, so." Then while this is going down, right, there is an earthquake. And while there's an earthquake, okay, there are these beams of blue light that come down and they like pick up these random people. Like we don't even know why. Now, I just want to say right now, I personally thought when this first happened, it was aliens. I was like, it's the end of the world. Of course, aliens would be it. Like I thought they would do a mixture of like zombie apocalypse, aliens, all that good stuff. We find out later it's not. It's beams of light from heaven. And I'm like, oh, it's
the rapture.
It's the rapture.
Only true believers get to go.
Which I was kind of annoyed with because I was like, whatever. It's
fine. They make it sound like it's because you're a good person.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I want to go. Jay clearly did not, later when he reads the Bible, he really did not read it carefully.
We need to talk about that because none of these motherfuckers would be pulled up in beams of light to go to heaven.
No.
And I want to talk about heaven. I have
the giant devil would have made them suck his giant cock.
Oh my god, we are going to talk about that. I just want to say, very impressive. I was jealous. Okay,
it's okay. It's fine.
So yeah, so I love how these beams of lights are going down. Seth Rogen, by the way, doesn't see any of this because he's trapped behind like a cage.
He fell from the earthquake.
Yeah, that fat piece of shit. And
you think that's what happened?
What'd you say?
You think that's what happened?
That
he falls.
Yeah,
he just connected that because I thought. To skip ahead, when he goes into Franco's house, he's like, "Did you see anything?" He's like, "Oh no, I didn't." I thought he literally was he saw everything,
And he
but
was
No,
just
because
being a
when it
dick.
shakes,
I
he falls
never
down
thought
and he's
like he really
attacked
didn't
by
see
that
it.
Yeah.
snack thing falls
Yeah,
on
like it's
top of
like
him.
the
So he
kiosk
doesn't see
thingy.
anything.
Yeah.
Oh, so you really think like he just didn't see anything? He's like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought he was just like this. I don't know,
throwing
something
his
going
friend
on
under the
crazy.
bus is crazy.
Yeah,
Right
no
on.
kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I love how the black cashier, who's all like a sassy black, which she's like, and everything. She's all like, what the fuck is happening? And then like a big heater just like falls on her. I was like, oh, should have been nice. You should have been nice. You would have been pulled up in those beams of light. But you were a naughty, naughty lady. Okay. So then I love how they're all like, they scream like bitches and they run out of there. I love how Jay jumps over the
Loved
broken
it.
glass. Yeah, I
So
love
good.
it.
So
And
good.
Seth
And then
opens the door and goes
Yeah.
out the door.
yeah, exactly. And I love how everybody and their brother is getting hit by cars at this point in time. I'm like, get off the road. I'm all like, what is going on here? And there's like sparks flying everywhere, and they're running back to Franco's house and everything.
And all the cars have holes in the roof because apparently the beams couldn't, bring people through the car. They broke them
Exactly.
through
They can, yeah.
the
You
roof.
can't be transparent. You just gotta, you gotta
Right.
burn a hole through it like a fucking comet and everything. So they
Oh
get
my
back
God.
to the party, and Jay is trying to explain what happened with the beams of light. And what's his face
And
is
no
like,
one felt anything because his house is a fortress. It's
yeah, exactly.
soundproof, it's earthquake proof. It is insane. So,
Until there's an earthquake, right? And then they all run out, which I'm all like, I don't understand the rationale of running out of the house when there's an earthquake. I thought you were supposed to get like, in a doorway or,
if you can
underneath
get
stuff.
outside, you're supposed to go outside so falling things don't hit you. If you can't make it outside, then you are supposed to go to a door frame because it's stable.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
But yeah, you're supposed to go outside.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, fuck you, Miss Safety. Anyways, so I love how they go outside and the whole town is on fire. Everything's burning, which is, maybe they should get some their fire trucks up and running. Gavin,
Oh, didn't you know what just happened in the LA
oh
fires?
yeah, no,
They're lacking on water and
yeah,
fire
this is
trucks.
fortune telling
I
at
was
its
gonna
best.
say it just
Yeah.
happened. Like
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
like 4 trucks.
Yeah.
Nor
So
nor do any of their reservoirs have water in
Nope.
them.
exactly. They're all out. They're all out. Okay, so then they're all sitting there, right? And then Michael Cera's all like, "Who took my cell phone? Who took my cell phone?" And I love how everybody's like trying, hey Michael, hey Michael, hey Michael. And then like the
Jonah Hill is I'm
oh
being
yeah, right,
Jonah Hill
okay.
pointing.
So then the telephone pole like stabs him right through the fucking heart. Now, I just want to say right now, he was talking after this. I was like, in the real world, he would just be dead instantly because it went
Come
through his
on.
fucking heart. Okay, you
I don't
like
know. You hear those weird stories about
You
people
do.
being crushed and they're able to stay alive as long
but
as the
he was
pressure.
talking
But
for like
then
a
the
full
minute the
2
pressure.
minutes.
And he's on a
What?
lot of cocaine. He's on a
Okay,
lot of
listen,
cocaine.
I'll give it to you, but I just call what and everything. I love how he like finds this out of all the people out of all the people that died. I was hoping Michael Cera wouldn't die, but I forgot that he died. I was like, oh, bummer. He doesn't get to get his
Oh,
butthole
no.
eaten anymore. So then he and I love how it lifts him up like he like and everything. He's just like oh, this is embarrassing because he finds his cell phone in his pocket. He's like somebody call my cell phone and it's in his pocket. He's like, this is embarrassing. I was like, and you're dead. And then it just like he sinks into the ground, right? And I'm like, oh, that's a bummer. But later, Michael
Sinkhole to hell.
yeah, sinkhole to hell.
Yeah.
And then I love how the sinkhole opens and everybody and their brother falls in. Like Mindy Kaling falls in. What's his face falls in.
Aziz.
Aziz Ansari.
Is Paul Rudd
Uh,
falling? Paul Rudd might falling. He was there.
yes, Paul
Yeah.
Rudd falls in. And then I love how
I love that he comes late to the party carrying
So
the
good.
world's largest bottle of champagne.
and steps on that woman's head and crushes it. Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Like, yeah, fuck her. She doesn't forgive you. She's dead now, okay? I can see her eyeball. So I love how Aziz Ansari is like holding on for dear life in this sinkhole. And I love how Craig is all like, he's like, help me. And he's like, I'm sorry, Aziz, I can't help you. And he just runs away. I'm all like,
Too late for you.
Yeah, it's too late for you. And I'm all like, what? I'm like,
And then when Kevin Hart falls and he grabs Kevin Hart's leg.
Yeah, I'm like, why are you guys not help? You could help him. He's not like that white woman that's like hanging off the side of the by a rock and shit and
Even
everything.
Jay's a little farther down in the sinkhole
Exactly,
than Aziz.
exactly. That one dude in the blue, he gets hit by a fucking rock and like falls and everything. And I love the guy, what was his name? He is from what was that show? What would you do if I sang
Wonder Years?
Wonder Years? He was
Yes.
from Wonder Years. What is that guy's name?
Not
It
Fred
just-
Savage.
Okay, yes,
No.
Fred. No, not Fred Savage.
No.
Is it the
Yeah.
guy from Wonder Years?
Not Wonder Years. I don't
Okay.
think.
Anyways, hold on, I'm looking it up. Dave Krumholtz. Okay, he's not from Wonder Years. I lied and everything. So okay, so that guy's holding on. And I love how Jay's all like, he's like, I'm gonna fall, and he's like, I'm gonna pull you up, and he's like, I'm gonna give you my full weight, and he's like, yeah, give me I can handle it. I was like,
I just swing you.
yeah, Jay, I don't listen. I go to the gym every day. If somebody was like, I'm gonna give you my full weight, I'd be like, don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not trusting anyone but John Cena. Okay.
exactly.
Or my husband because they're about the same size.
Exactly. And they have to be on top of the sink hill
Right?
with their hands down. This guy was hanging on by like a fucking pebble, and Jay's all like, give me your hand, I can do it. I'm like, I don't think Jay, you weigh like what, $120? I don't think you can do it.
Wait, are you talking about the guy from like 10 Things I Hate About You?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
Oh my god, you're so far off.
Yes.
No wonder you.
I've been drinking. Leave me alone. They kind of look the same though.
No.
What are you talking? All right, now that you said that, I'm gonna pull up a picture.
Oh my god.
No, he's
You're
gotta do
side by
side by
side,
side
like they're not even
comparison.
close. Like,
Anyways.
they're not even brothers.
So
I totally forgot that that's the guy from 10 Things I Hate About
Yeah,
You, but
and
he
Santa
is
Claus,
totally
like-
the guy that gets the dick drawn on his face. Yes.
Yeah. You are
Yes.
so far off.
right on. Okay.
Savage.
So, so they are okay. So what's his face? What is his face? Jay. He finally gets.
I do not know why you have such a hard time. That's literally the easiest name in this movie.
It's really-
yet you
Listen,
fucker,
cannot
okay,
commit
hey,
it to
listen.
memory.
You need to get back off my dick right now. Okay, you know I'm not good with names.
Ew.
I am not good with names right now, so you need to suck it. Anyways, but not literally because I don't like you.
Ew.
Mm.
Before
I'm
I
calling
forget,
mom on you.
before I forget, so you are brother and sister.
Yes,
What is
unfortunately.
Yes.
So honestly, I'm not joking. Part of the reason this movie intrigues me is because I was brought up Catholic. Tomorrow we will go to church and all of that. So when you get brought up in that, you're taught about like the redemption and like if this ever happens, like all these people. But they make it sound like there's like 6 people out of like 20,000. And all of a sudden I'm watching this show and like every other person is going to heaven. And I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so different.
Yeah, they definitely don't do it correctly. Like I want to talk about it towards the end.
Okay.
But yeah, they don't do it right. It's very it's
Crazy.
yeah, it's very
But
stupid.
I was gonna say, isn't a majority of this cast or part of this cast, aren't they Jewish too? So
Yeah,
they really
yeah.
wouldn't.
Yeah, so they're
know?
definitely not going to heaven.
Sorry to derail it. I was just like, before I forget,
No,
I was
you're
like,
fine.
there's a lot of people going up.
Right on. So okay. So then they get put inside the house with James Franco and all the other crew that we're gonna get to and
With one
everything.
hidden guest that none of them know about, which I love when he
Yeah,
appears.
So good.
Right on. So then they're all sitting there and they're all freaking out, of course, you know, because they have to. And so hold on,
They
pulling up
decide
my-
they have to board up the house.
Yes, they have to board up the house, but I love
And
how
this pisses James Franco off because they want to use his artwork.
exactly, which I love how he's all like, you don't even have a toolkit, and I'm like, that's so, and they're just using duct tape, which I'm all like, that's not going to keep anything out, let
Crack in
alone
the wall, and Seth Rogen just rips off a piece of tape and puts
Yeah.
it over the crack in the
crack
wall.
in the wall. Exactly. That's so good. So good. So, okay. So then they're trying to figure it all out and everything. And while they're doing that, I love how there's a helicopter and it crashes and the blade goes through the wall into the wall and the Craig guy's all like, "Ow, ow, that fucking hurt," and everything. And he's got like a paper clip,
an arm or
paper cut.
something because of the way
Yeah,
he's holding
exactly.
his hand.
I was like, "Oh yeah, Craig, that's a real gusher, you fucking pussy." Anyways, so
But how did the blade get through all of that concrete?
Why do you guys gotta do that?
Why ask why Bud Dry? Why ask why Bud Dry?
He designed this place to be a fortress.
The fortress.
Yeah, and I love how they're all like, I love he's like, is anybody using this big cock sculpture? And he's like, I'm gonna take the big cock sculpture, and I was like,
and they're all like, yeah, you take the cock, take it all.
Right on,
yeah.
He's like, all right, come on, cock, let's go. I got the cock now.
Right on. So at this point in time, they then take an inventory of the supplies that they have, right?
Yep.
And they've got 12 bottles of water, 62 beers, 2 vodkas, 2 whiskeys, a bunch of Nutella, cheese, pizza, eggs, bananas, apples.
Steak.
Hold on, I wrote down bacon.
Oh, you wrote it all down.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, skim milk, 2 things of ketchup, 1 ounce of shrooms. Hold on, I wrote it all down. Maybe I didn't write it down. 15 pills of ecstasy, a porno mag, a baseball bat, a video camera from 28 days later or whatever.
127 hours.
I knew. See, I said that on purpose because I love how he's all like, "It's actually from," and he's like correcting. I'm like,
he says 27 hours, and he's like 127.
Yeah,
hours.
exactly.
He just won an Oscar for that. It was a big deal.
Fucking James Franco, I swear.
Yeah, and I love how he's like, I got a revolver with 6 bullets or whatever. And I love how they start playing around with the revolver. I'm like, this is not gun safety at any way, shape, or form.
Because as we've learned from the movie Rush, prop guns can have real bullets in them.
Exactly. Rust.
Is that not what I said? What did I say?
You said rush. It's fine though.
I've had alcohol. Words are hard.
I knew what you meant. Words are hard for you anyways. You're
That's
a woman.
true. Go watch some of our shorts.
So I love how they're all playing around with this gun, which is a prop gun, right?
Jonah Hill goes a little over the top.
It's just Jonah.
Exactly. And I love how they're all like, "Can I have the Milky Way?" And he's like, "No, that's my Milky Way." And he's like, "I'm just saying I want the Milky Way." And I was like, "That's so true."
After party Milky Way.
It's after party Milky Way. I should start having one of those, like after party after the kids go to bed, Milky Way. It's
so good.
I was like, that's kind of genius.
It's kind of funny. That's so funny and everything. Okay, so then they all go to sleep, right? And real quick, because Jonah Hill was all like, "I need the Milky Way because of my blood sugar." And they're like, "If you need blood sugar, you can have a finger of Nutella." And I'm all like, "What? You're gonna put your fingers in that? Gross."
We know he has silverware because they were looking for a toolbox and all they could find was silverware. So why can't he use a spoon?
Right on. So I love how all of them like end up like sleeping together in the same bed or whatnot, right?
So they're in the living room, like in the middle of his sectional couch, because they were all in separate rooms and they were all scared. I love it.
Right on. So then morning comes, right? And
I love Vetta. She's so good.
Right on. And our special guest shows up, right? And I just want to say right now that what's his face is quite annoying.
Danny McBride.
Yeah, Danny McBride.
Everybody has that one friend that they're like, we don't want to be friends with him, but he keeps coming around and nobody wants to be mean.
Exactly.
It's you for us, Matt, but we don't tell you that as siblings.
No, but shut up. All of you love me. I am the favorite sibling out of all of you fuckers, okay? Trust me, I know. Oh, Vetta, who's your favorite sibling?
Hey, who's your favorite sister? I win by
You're the only one fucker, and technically
I'm
the second sister, and everybody loves me. So, Vetta, who's your favorite sibling? Hold on, just hold on, Ryan, just 1 second. Who's your favorite sibling, Vetta? Who's your favorite sibling?
You.
Exactly. I'm everybody's favorite sibling, you fucking asshole. I'm everybody's favorite
But
sibling.
nobody can win with you because you have a fucking twin.
But what
That's
does that have to do
cheating.
with the price of tea in China?
That's cheating.
I
He's
am the
literally a
best
carbon
twin.
copy of you.
Everybody loves me, you fucking asshole.
But
Everybody
nobody
loves
can
me.
say, you're never going to
Yes,
say
they
I'm your
can.
favorite or Don's your favorite because you have a carbon copy.
Yeah, Marlon's my favorite. Of course
Yeah,
I.
that's what
But
I'm saying.
so?
Cheating.
Oh, get it the
I
hell out of
gotta
here.
work to be the favorite. He wins by default.
You could work your hardest. You wouldn't be my favorite. Anyways, you're
Oh,
annoying. Anyways, I find you quite annoying. So,
Good. Then I'm doing my job as a sister.
all right, back to this movie. Okay, so Danny McBride wakes up and first off, he does one of the most annoying things on the planet. And he also does one of the most boss moves of the planet because I would have done this in a heartbeat. He makes breakfast. And I was like, first off, he washes off his face with all their water. All their water. He uses
and
all
He
their
does
water.
a horse bath in
Yeah,
this scene.
I went to South Africa and we took bucket baths where you would
humble
have to,
brag.
yeah, humble brag.
Yep.
Listen,
Oh, no. Why were you in Africa? He's really going to make us feel like shit.
Yeah.
Why were you
Yeah.
in
There you
Africa?
go.
I was helping an orphanage.
Ah!
So
Went on a mission trip. Like,
if you go to an orphanage an hour north of Johannesburg, I built those bunk beds. Trust me, those the panty dropper. Anyways, so you just bust out pictures of you and little African babies. Bitches love that shit. Okay, anyways. So first off, I just want to say also that Danny McBride is the worst breakfast maker because he's like doing this to toast. And I'm like, what are you doing right now? Like, what are you
and what
doing?
was he doing to those scrambled eggs?
Oh,
Like,
making the biggest mess on the planet
yeah.
and everything. And I love how he's like, while he's doing that, he's like making a vodka shake or whatever.
Yes.
And everything. I loved all of it and everything. But at the same time, I'm like, I would eat that breakfast. I'm like, that looked delicious.
I wouldn't have been mad at him at all.
Brian, what's
I
going
would.
on? Brian, you don't have to raise your hand.
No, this is serious. This is serious.
Oh,
I'm excited.
oh,
All right.
let's go.
I have two confessions. One,
Oh my God, I love it.
I watched the movie,
hmm
and you know when you have a group of friends, and you're like, if you don't know who the unfunny one is, you're the unfunny one.
Right?
So I watched this, and I'm like, if you don't know who the Danny McBride is, you're the Danny McBride. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm the Danny McBride.
Oh,
Like,
bummer.
I literally, like, I was like, oh my God, I get left out on like these group chats. I get, because,
Oh, that sucks.
oh my God, right? So I'm from the UP, and like,
Oh, well,
slowly
that's
but
why.
steadily, yeah, I'm losing, like, nobody talks to me anymore and all this stuff. But also, like, Danny McBride, I think Matt's got a little of it too. Like, if I know, like, you're like kind of squaring me out, like, I'm gonna let you know, like, hey, this isn't funny. Two, because of this movie, every Sunday I make breakfast for my kids with the scrambled eggs, and I do the bird thing.
The
and it
bird
is
thing.
I have done that for like,
What is the bird thing?
it's just like you're like I'm done, and like when I saw it, I was like, that's what you have to do when you make scrambled eggs. You gotta do the hand. If we're just audio only, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like you do the.
We'll post
floating-
this on our YouTube.
Yes.
Well, good, but I listen to you only on audio, sir.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Well, he's making the butterfly shape with his hands.
With the fingers.
Whatever,
Anyways.
yeah. And I'm like, so like, I was watching it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm Danny McBride. Like, all of them are like, yes, we are subtle and normal people. And then when Ryan comes to town, it's a lot to deal with. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm that guy. And I'm like, and then at the end, when, you know, we'll get to it later, how he like backtracks, I'm like, no, I'm not hiding from this.
Right on. Yeah, no, it was great. It was great. I love how they immediately freak out. Now, and I would freak out too if somebody had wasted all our supplies on breakfast. But at the same time, I'm like, that breakfast looks so fucking good. I was like, I would eat that breakfast. I'd be like, all right, well, let's
ate
just.
it and then got mad later.
Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God, did I kill the show? Because I thought like that was like my
No,
moment.
no, you're good.
No, you're
It's like, I feel like Matt had to be like, all right, back to the recording. I'm sorry. I feel so bad.
Yeah, he had like this big pot of coffee, and he had the bacon. I was like, why are you guys not like stuffing your faces right now? Because that's what I would have done.
See, Yeah, I would have been like, while everyone else is yelling at him, I'd have been like, oh, let me take some bacon. I
Exactly.
agree. I agree. Yep. Pour me some more
Exactly.
coffee. Thanks.
Exactly.
And
So no,
there's no
the
going back, right? Like you can't go back
Right?
from being
exactly.
McBride. Like you're like, okay, I'll be alpha
Exactly.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
would have held up my hand and been like, I'm really mad about the water. I can oversee the
Yeah, the
bacon,
water would have
but
been
the
a
water
problem.
is real
Like
bad.
I know, like if I'm any of those friends, I am so mad, but I'm like, I'm Danny. Like I would it's bad. It's so bad. I've been like, let's do a 14 egg omelet. So excited.
Right on. Okay, so then then the most random thing happens. A neighbor busts through their little makeshift thing to come through the door, right? And he's all like, "Help me, let me in," and everything. And they're like, "Fuck you, I don't know you," and everything. And then he gets ripped his
I love how they all jump to he's a rapist. Like,
right, yeah, yeah. They're just all like, yeah, they're like, no sympathy
it's like, I'm
whatsoever.
not gonna rape anyone unless you want me
Right.
to.
Right. All right, Harvey Weinstein. So then I love how he gets chomped and we find out what it is later. But then his head just falls on the floor and then we get the point of view from the head and they're just kicking it around like a soccer ball and I don't know who says it but they're like he would not want his head to be kicked around like a soccer ball and I'm like that's crazy and everything. So then they pick up the head and everything and they go to look outside and it's still a disaster area, right? And I love how okay, so then they get real world on us, right? And they're videotaping themselves like a confessional with the video camera, right? And I love how James Franco's all like, I hate fucking Danny McBride. He's like here, I don't know why he's here and everything. And then Danny
He came
McBride
to my party and I didn't even invite
right?
him.
And he
So
comes
good.
up behind him. He's
So
like,
good.
"What are you doing?" And he's like, just recording a little something." I'm like, "That is so good because you know he heard every single thing." And he's just giving him the like, "Yeah, I heard everything," kind of look, and he's just like, "It's so good, so good."
After he walks away, he's like, I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah, fucking anything, all right. So then we finally get the explanation from Jay of what exactly is happening, right? Now, I thought that at this point, this movie would go in the direction of just adding every single possible thing they could. I'm talking alien invasion, zombie invasion, the apocalypse, like demons and shit. But no,
See,
they just.
zombies never crossed my mind though.
Oh, okay.
Me either. No, I
Don't
didn't
they
see that.
mention zombies in this though?
Emma Watson brings it up
Okay.
when she comes in, but she doesn't have a real solid base for it.
Right. So, but they clearly go with the rapture and like the whole biblical thing because Jay talks about how like this is the end of the world according to biblical times and everything, and they're all like that's bullshit and everything. So then they all so I love how Seth Rogen's all like, let's do all the drugs. And I'm like, yes, Seth, let's do all the drugs. And I love how Jay's all like, I don't do the drugs, you don't do the drugs. He's like, well, you just drink a whole can of ecstasy. And I was like, that's good. That's good. Share these and
Right?
everything.
I'd have
Do
been
you
like in
drink
that
acid? I have no
situation,
idea.
even if you don't want to do the drugs, don't you just do them? Just
Yeah,
like if you found out tomorrow a big giant comet was hitting the earth,
I
wouldn't you just be
would.
like,
Yeah.
let's
End of the
go?
world. Yeah.
So then they all start tripping balls, which I loved that because everything was all like colorful and everything. I was like, this is fun. And then they make the sequel to Pineapple Express, which I absolutely loved, except for James Franco can't do the worm. I was like, oh, James Franco, you can't dance, let alone do the worm. And I'm not gonna lie, a small piece of me wishes they would do a sequel to to Pineapple Express because
Do
that
you
was
know
I
that
love
that
how
was
James.
actually brought up? That was their plan. That was so I looked up Fast Facts. Their plan was to actually do Pineapple Express 2, and that was like the whole like synopsis of what they were gonna do.
that's
And
good.
isn't that crazy?
I would watch
I
that.
would watch it.
Yeah, I would watch it too
So
because
I thought so. Like, oh my god. But yeah,
I
that was
just love how James Franco has all of his outfits and props to all
there
of
you
his
right,
go.
yeah, it's
movies.
so
Just
good.
There you
Yeah,
go.
right,
Yeah.
right. So
like
then
Porter much?
right, exactly. Which I love how they like can't get to it. They have to dig through the floor to get to it to
Oh,
get
they're
to all
going to
the
look for the water.
yeah. But then all his props are in the basement. I was like, do you not have stairs to your basement, fucker? Like, what's
They're
going on here?
outside. They're
Yeah,
They're
outside.
outside around the corner. It's like a
like Twister.
Storm shelter.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like a Michigan what is that called? A Michigan, maybe it's called the Michigan Storm Cellar. I can't remember. Anyways,
I just give yourself a basement with stairs. It's way
yeah,
easier,
it's way
guys.
easier.
Way
Yeah, yeah,
easier.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so then they wake up the next morning, or they're watching their movie, and Emma Watson breaks into their house and everything because they're still tripping balls. And she talks about how she like sat in a storm drain pipe or whatever for a couple of days, and she heard all these noises, and she's like, "It's a zombie apocalypse." I'm only saying that because you brought it up, Betta. I hadn't remembered that she brought up the zombie apocalypse. So then they start talking about how they're like, we need to keep Emma around because we're like five dudes and she's like one chick, but like that's kind of rapey. And they just keep talking about like, oh, sorry, grapey. They keep talking about all this stuff. And then she's all like, I just heard how you want to grape me. And he's like, no, no, no. We were talking about like, we don't want to grape you. And she's like, give me your fucking shit and everything. And then she leaves because she's all like, I'm getting the fuck out of here, you weirdos. And I'm all like, well, alakazoo to you too, bitch, and everything. So she leaves. And how did you guys feel about this Emma Watson part here? Because I was like, Hermione, you're tripping balls too without actually taking anything. Don't
I,
everybody talk at
yeah.
once.
It's your show. I loved it. I also like it was supposed to be um it was supposed to be the girl from Family Guy or 70s show, Mila Kunis. It was supposed to be her, and like things didn't work out, so they got Emma Watson. But I thought Emma Watson was like perfect for that because everybody that like didn't like it with all the like Seth Rogen fans were like, "Oh, Emma Watson, Harry Potter, like that's funny. I like that." And she had enough sense of humor like to pull it off. I think Mila Kunis would have been kind of like, okay, she's playing a role, but Emma Watson was kind of refreshing. I liked it.
Right
Wasn't
on.
terrible.
Right on. Okay, so then they decide that they need water, right? And they're gonna go get water, but to decide who's gonna go outside and get the water, they burn a match and then they put it in the matchsticks, and whoever takes the burnt matchstick, they are the one that's gonna go outside and get the water. And Craig is the unfortunate soul that picks the match that to go get the water.
And I
And
do
the
want to know this. Why at no point does Craig play the racist card to get out of something? Because I would have to save my own ass if I was him. I'd have been like, this is racist. You're sending me out there.
See, that's the thing. If it was the end of the apocalypse and you were all like, this is racist, I'd be like, yeah, it is. Now go get the fucking water, loser. I'd be like, I don't fucking care. Like, either you could get the water or we all, starve to death or whatever. So then I love how he puts on the little like wire or whatever it fucking was, the extension cord.
Extension cord.
And he's like, you're gonna pull me in, and I'm like, they're not gonna be able to pull your fat ass in. I'm like, well, please. Jay's like 90 pounds
This
wet.
is like if middle schoolers were trying to survive
Right?
the
Yeah.
apocalypse.
Which I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie, I would have volunteered to go outside and get the water. I'm like, listen, if I'm gonna die, it's gonna be
There's
now or
no
later.
way you go outside and volunteer for that. There's
Why
no
not?
way.
Why not? Because let's say he finds the water. He
Okay.
gets first dibs. I would have been like,
But
oh,
I
and
go, why
everything.
didn't they
Okay,
do
there's
buddy
like
Hungry.
there's no way you're like, I'll go. There's no way.
I really feel like the two of them should have went because those bottles weigh like 20 pounds.
They're
I
heavy.
mean,
Yeah.
two of them, each one gets one and can still move. I mean, one
Right.
person carrying both of those, one of those like demon dogs attacks them, they're not getting away.
Yeah, exactly. And I love how they let go of the extension cord and just like pulls outside the house. I'm like, you fucking morons! Like you didn't even.
They had it weighed down by like a bunch of shirts or something.
It was
I'm
like
like,
80
we
Yeah,
need to
feet
think
short.
this through.
Right. So then he ends up getting chased by a demon dog, but we don't see the demon dog, right? And he gets back into the house. And then I love how James Franco's like, the water's just like right here. So then they start digging, which I'm like, this is great. Because then they start using like the metal part of a chair, like a rolling chair
Baseball
to
bat.
dig. Yeah, yeah. And they're digging into his house. And I love when James Franco comes in and he's all like, who came on this porn mag and stuck the pages together? I was like, that is not cool, dude. I was like, that's not cool. And I love how and Danny McBride's all like, I was raised by a house of women. I was like, I can tell you're a total pussy. And I'm like, yeah, you come in a sock or a tissue or whatever it is that you come in, like a normal fucking dude. But he ruined the porno, and then he's all like, who jerks off into who uses porno mags? And I'm like, on a fucking adult, that's who, you know? I was like,
I feel like this generation of like kids, they don't understand the magazine
they
because it's at the
dude,
on their
they do
phones.
not understand.
So James Franco is holding on to his like first time of getting
Exactly,
his dad's
exactly.
magazine and
They
having a good time.
exactly.
He
Yeah.
is really like, this is the way
James
it's
Franco
done.
gets it.
Yep,
James
he
Franco
gets it
gets it.
for
Yeah, he's all
sure.
like, it's not readily
Danny's
available.
just being lazy and a
Exactly.
bad guest. Not only does he jizz all over the magazine, but he pisses on the toilet seat. I'm like, come on,
Yeah,
dude, have some
exactly.
manners. You're in
Rude.
somebody else's house.
Yeah,
This might
rude.
be weird, but we were watching together, my wife
Oh
and
my
I,
God, yes, I want to hear it.
and I'm telling you, the first I told him like best line Simone ever. We're gonna need a bigger boat. I'm like the second line is you don't have enough bullets, bitch. It was the funniest
Right on.
line
Right on.
when
Right on.
Franco goes, "I'm gonna shoot your dick off next time." He goes, "You don't have enough bullets, bitch." Funniest
Right
thing.
on. Right on. So then, okay, so then Jay and Rogan are digging and they fall through the floor and they end up finding the water and they're sitting at the last supper, if you will, and they're drinking water like it's a fucking
In
party
martini
in
glasses.
martini
Yeah.
glasses. And then Danny McBride gets up and he has a second glass of water, which is blasphemy at this point in time. And they're like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm having another glass of water." And they're like, "No, we need to save all our stuff, our supplies." And then he douses himself in water, which I'm all like, Danny, you're being a fucking retard right now. Like, what are you doing? Like, at this point in time, you're not
And
even.
he wants to claim the don't tell me I can't do something because then that means I'm gonna do it. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh my God.
Right on. So they make Danny leave the house, which I would just want to say when they kick him out, when they vote him off the island, I love that he's wearing like a tuxedo. I was like, this is
Which
so good.
pisses James Franco off. Like
Yeah,
he sat down
exactly.
on the couch and
Yep.
James Franco's like, he's in my fucking tux.
Yeah,
I
it's
think, and I'm not 100%, but doesn't he say he's in my Oscar tux or
I think
something
so.
like
yeah,
that?
yeah. I don't remember, but yeah, we'll say yes. So good. And then he gets voted off the island, right? So they kick him out of the house, which I absolutely love, right? So then at this point in time, all right, so this is where we get Jonah Hill, where he really shows his true colors. Okay, so he's in bed and he's praying to Jesus, praying to the Jesus. And he's like, please kill Jay. I hate Jay. Jay sucks and everything. And I'm all like, oh my God, this is so good, right? But then Jonah Hill gets his comeuppance. Because what happens to Jonah Hill? We get a
He has
Rosemary's Baby.
relations.
Rosemary's Baby scene where the devil comes in. And let me just tell you right now, the
Is
devil,
it the devil or a demon?
whatever it is, it's very
Because he gets
impressive. I'm just
possessed.
saying,
So
it's
Me
I'm
too.
pretty
so
sure it's just a demon.
he is so impressive that I'm jealous, okay? And that's hard for me to get jealous of someone's size. So he like I love how he's all like and he's like, wait, this isn't a dream. This is really fucking happening. I'm like, yeah, you are so getting graped right now by a
So you were enjoying it while it was a dream, and then when you realized it was real, you're freaking out. Shouldn't that have been a nightmare all around? Not
yeah,
enjoy it
it
if
was
it's fake.
yeah, it was crazy. What did you think about this scene, Ryan?
I thought I hate to be like Debbie Downer. I was like, you guys could have went like a whole other direction, but like now it's like the comedy everybody's like making fun of all of you guys for is like that's what you would do. Like it's like if we didn't need the huge piece of material,
But it was impressive.
it was so big. It was so big.
So big.
But I'm like, if you even did like the scratch on the arm, and you're like, okay, I now possess you. Like, but I was like, man, you guys went the extra mile.
Right
I
on.
wish they didn't do it just because I'm like, it could have had a little more credibility.
Right on.
It's like the only thing I don't like about the movie, and I don't like myself being like Debbie Downer, but I'm like, man, you guys, you were so close to like kind of having some really cool things done with you're the real actors. This really could happen. But now I'm like, now there's like a 9-foot schlong. I'm like, I don't know what to do with that.
Hey, you never know. You never
You
know what
never
the
know.
demon's
know.
Yeah,
carrying.
yeah.
Yeah, and demons are a
And I
fickle
feel like in an
creature.
apocalypse, though, in a situation like that, even if the demon didn't have a 10-foot one, they would create one
You're
because that
right.
would be more agony for the gentleman, I would assume. I don't
For
know.
some, for some. Anyways, for some, it might not be so much of an agony. Anyway, so okay, so then they decide they need supplies, so they're gonna do the matchstick thing again, right? And I love
Oh
how
God,
Seth Rogen gets the burnt matchstick. He's like, I'm not gonna go, and
that's
He
everything
me.
like,
pusses out so
yeah,
fast.
he's
I would
such a
too.
pussy.
Like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
So then Jay and Craig they decide they're gonna go, right? And so they head off into the wilderness, right? And they go over to a neighbor's house, if you
The
will,
one
because
house in the neighborhood that is only scorched on the outside, but in mint condition inside. It's
Sounds
all the
right.
untouched.
windows were closed.
Yeah.
That's fine.
There you go.
That's fine. And they go in and they find a cabinet that is just full of supplies. Okay. Now while all this is going on, um Jonah Hill, he goes into anaphylactic shock or some shit, but really he is being possessed by Satan. And I loved how he's like, no, 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 and everything. He's just talking his nonsense or whatever. Okay, so real quick, we'll talk about that scene in a minute, but I want to talk about Jay and Craig real quick because both these scenes are going on at the same time. So Jay and Craig, they find supplies. Okay, they find a whole cabinet, so much that they can't fit it into their backpack.
And a case of Coke,
Yeah,
which I would be
exactly,
super excited
exactly.
about.
But they also get attacked by this demon dog. Now, I also want to just say right now, this is the part where I was like, I kind of wish they wouldn't have revealed the demon dog because at this point, I was like, we don't really see anything, and it's kind of fun not seeing it and everything. But then we kind of got it. But at the same time, I didn't hate it. So this demon dog is chasing them throughout the entire house, and they end up escaping through a window or whatnot and they make it back to the house. Okay. But while this is going on, what's his face? Jonah Hill. He's been just basically being possessed by a demon. And he's throwing up on Jonah Hill, or not Jonah Hill, on James Franco and Seth Rogen.
Oh, you're not gonna do the baby bird, talk about the baby bird scene
The
with the
Milky
Milky
Way.
Way?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I forgot about this. Okay. So they think he's because he has high blood pressure. Sorry, I totally forgot about it. I had remembered it earlier. I've been drinking. Anyways, so I love how they're all like, he has high blood pressure. Get the Milky Way. So they get the Milky Way, which at this point I was like, oh, you guys saved the Milky Way. That's crazy.
After the party's not
Well,
over.
I just thought they would have eaten it by now because they were cutting up the cheese in such little slices that I thought they'd already went through the Milky Way. Okay, so I love how he's like, you have to chew it like a baby bird. And he's like, I love how James Franco, like he bites into, he's like, oh, it's so good. I was like, it is so good. Milky Ways are
You
so
weren't
good.
supposed to swallow it.
Yeah, it's so good. How could you not? How could you not swallow it? And then Seth Rogen's like, let me have a bite. And he gives him a bite. And I was like, you guys, you're just wasting it now. And then I love how he's spitting at I didn't love how he's spitting at because that's fucking gross and everything. I was like, ugh. And that's when what's his face was all like, I shall feast upon your soul and shit. And he's like chasing him around the house. And I love how they go into the closet, right? And Seth Rogen's like, and he's like, you're breathing too loud. I can hear you and everything. He's like, don't breathe through your mouth. And he's like, you are breathing so loud. I was like, Seth Rogen, you breathe so fucking loud. Like, that's like so loud. I would let you get eaten if it was me.
I would have pushed him out of the closet. I'd be like,
Exactly.
it's giving away my hiding spot. Get out.
Exactly. So they bust out of the closet. They end up falling down the stairs, and then Jay and Craig come back and they knock him out with the bat, or Jay does. And then they tie him to the bed, exorcist style, right?
And it does come up on the screen, the exorcism of Jonah Hill.
Exactly.
That's funny.
Yes, it does. So then I love how they go in and he's all and he's like the power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. He's like, does it? Does it compel me? Does the power of Christ compel me? Ryan, what did you think about this scene with the exorcism of Jonah Hill?
So like I said, raised Catholic. That is the scariest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not
Mm,
joking. Like it's not even close. Like
mm.
come at me with a chainsaw, come at me with a knife. Like that's fun. If you're that 13-year-old girl that is just going crazy in that bed, growing up, that was the scariest thing in the world. So then when I saw Jonah Hill do it, at first I'm like, oh, okay, this is a way to make fun of it. But then I'm like, if I'm making fun of this, like, oh my God, does it make it worse? Like, is the devil like
I don't think
gonna
so.
be crazy about it? Because literally, like, if you do like that Harry Potter box about like what's the scariest thing, it is the exorcism girl. Like growing up, it was the scariest thing in the world. And then to see it with Jonah Hill, I'm like, oh, that's funny. But it took me like 3 or 4 times to think it was funny. The first couple times, like, oh my God, like this was my whole childhood. I don't want to laugh in case like something bad happens to me. As I'm like 30 plus years old, being like, oh my God, like this should be funny. And all of a sudden, I'm like, it's not, because I know what that original movie was. It took me 5 tries at like the Civic Theater, like to replay it on Halloween to finish that movie. It's it's like a Catholic's worst dream to watch that movie. It's so crazy.
Right on.
Like the
Um,
first time I watched, I think I made it through like 7 minutes. It was so bad.
oh, gotcha. Yeah, I love that movie.
You are
Um,
crazy. You're not. There's no way.
right on. It is scary, but yeah. Okay, so I love how he's all like, does it compel me? Oh yeah, it's compelling me a little bit. It's
That's
compelling me a little
funny.
bit.
He's
That's
like,
funny.
wait, I'm
Yeah,
starting to feel that.
I'm sorry,
Whoa.
So
Whoa.
then they end up knocking a candle off of the dresser because Rogan and Jay get into a fight because you're seriously just copying The Exorcist. And I love how his cross is like a spatula and some
So
tongs
good.
put
So
like
good.
like taped together or whatever. And they end up lighting the whole house on plus not to mention Jonah Hill on fire.
Yes.
So then the house they get out into the open and the house collapses and everything. So they don't have their shelter anymore. And then while they're freaking out, a big giant flying demon lands on the garage or whatever. And Craig's all like, hey, listen, I'm going to distract this motherfucker and you guys run and everything. And they're like, really? He's like, no, he's like, it's totally fine. So as he's doing that, he's like waving a towel around. He's like, come on, motherfucker. And as the demon is about to attack him, this beam of light comes down. He's like, oh yeah, it feels so good and everything. And he gets pulled up into heaven. And I'm like, okay, well, again, that's not how that works. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. And they're all in his Prius, which I love that it's a Prius. It's so good and everything. And they're driving through town or whatever. And they're
They're
like,
having the discussion on, oh, it's because
exactly.
he sacrificed himself for us, so
Exactly.
we got
Yeah.
to do something good. And I'm like
Exactly.
you, that's not how that works. But
Yeah, let's just talk about it now because we've been talking about it for a little while.
Okay.
So you don't get to heaven by doing good deeds if you're someone of religious status and everything. You get it by A, being baptized in the blood of Christ, and
yes, being
B,
cleansed
by
of original
exactly,
sin. Yes.
and B, accepting Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, which none of these motherfuckers have
Oh no.
done in any way, shape, or form. So just because you're like a good person at the end of your life, like you get saved, get the fuck out of here with that
There are
noise.
plenty of atheists out there that are good people, but they don't believe. It's you have to truly, purely
Exactly.
believe.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
just kind of like, it's not good deeds, guys. Not good deeds at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. A one good deed does not save you from a lifetime of sin. I'm sorry. That's not how that works, you fucking assholes. Okay, but at the same time, it's
It
a
worked for
movie.
Jesus. He saved
It,
all of us.
he didn't have any sin. What are you talking about? He didn't have any sin. You stop that. Anyways, okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, they then get hit by a Mad Max Thunderdome fucking bus and everything, which I loved. And they get pulled out of their car. Okay, so then we get this cannibalistic horde being ran by Danny McBride, and he has a gimp. I just want to say right now, when this gimp came out of the trailer, and then he exposed his like asshole. He's like just like pointing it up at Danny McBride. He's like, I slide into that shit whenever I want. And then he's like, introduce yourself. He's like, hey guys. And it ends up being Channing Tatum. I was like, oh, Channing, I didn't realize that you were, that kind of
And it
person.
totally pisses Franco, Jay, and Seth off. Like they are so mad. They're like, "Oh my God, Channing Tatum!" And Danny McBride's like, "I call him Tatum Yummy."
Yeah, right. I love how he's got him on one of those like extendable leashes and everything, and he's like wearing,
Totally.
and he's wearing a crown of like a skull with hands holding it up and everything. I'm like, what's going on? Your fashion sense is crazy to me. And I love how he's all like, "Oh, you guys are still alive?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, we haven't eaten in a couple of days, so we're gonna eat you now and everything." And
Oh
I
yeah, we're
love how,
cannibals.
yeah, we're cannibals. So then, Franco, he decides he's like, I'm gonna sacrifice myself so you guys can get away, right? And he's all like, "Go, guys!" And he's fighting everybody off, and a
And he
big
does a pretty good job.
he does it. He does. He
Yeah.
does. I give him credit and everything. And then this big blue beam of light starts to pick him up and everything. But
And he pulls the biggest James Franco moves,
move
fucks it
up.
all
Oh
up.
yeah, he fucks it all up because he's
Yeah.
James Franco, and you know how he is and everything. But he's like, "Yeah, suck it," and everything. And he's like doing all this like braggadocious shit and everything. And the beam of light like totally falters. It's like abort, abort, and everything. And he falls to the ground. And then Danny McBride and all of his buddies, they just like eat him. They just like eat him
Alive.
alive
Just
and everything.
full on alive.
Ryan,
Just
what'd
cut
you
up.
think of this scene with Danny McBride being the Tina Turner of Thunderdome in
I
this movie?
loved it. I loved it so much. Like Channing Tatum, and especially it was. I looked it up. They had no idea, and Seth Rogen was like, "I don't know, why don't we use like the sexiest man alive?" And somebody's like, "Yeah." Jonah Hill's like, "Oh, I know Channing Tatum from 21." Like, so they emailed him, and like 3 hours later, Channing Tatum's like, "Yeah, I'm in." Like, no, you don't know what we want you to do. He's like, "I'm in." I thought that was cool. I thought the
They should
cameo
have
was
showed his
amazing.
butthole though.
That'd have been amazing. A
I
lot more
did.
I
viewers.
don't think
I,
they can.
Uh,
A lot
they
more
for
viewers.
sure can. They for sure can. I would have wanted to see it. Anyways, so James Franco is eaten, and I love how like James Franco is not even safe. And so then
Yeah.
Seth Rogen and Jay are not. They hide from the cannibals, and then as they're roaming around, the most giantest of devils shows up and has the biggest dick you've ever seen, which is
Oh
very
my god.
impressive. It's so big. It's like the hugest, which I'm all like,
It's like a skyscraper.
it's not
Yeah.
needed, but at the same time, I appreciate it because it's very impressive. I was just like, I'm jealous. Anyways, so then okay, so then these like weird serpent-like things come out of the demon's back or whatever, and they're like about to eat Seth Rogen and Jay, and he's all like, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, dude," and they're doing their whole thing. And this big light, this big blue beam of light picks up Jay and everything, but it doesn't pick up Seth Rogen. And he's all like, "It's not picking me up," and everything. And he's like, "Grab my hand.
You can come with me.
You can come with me." And I was like, I
Like
don't
he
think,
gets a +1 to
yeah, like
heaven.
exactly. Like I'm like, Jay, okay, it's not how that works before, but this is definitely not how it works. It works now, okay? You don't get a +1 to heaven. That's not how that works. So as they're going up, and I love how Jay is like he's like gyrating while he's
Yeah.
doing this whole
Yeah.
thing. Like I'm all like, what's going on here? Is that how it works? What is happening here? Like I'm like I like it's funny, but at the same time I'm like not realistic. So while they're being, and I love how he's like, "Yeah, we're being pulled up and everything." The beam of light starts to flicker, and he's like it's not working. He's like just let me go. And so he lets go, or what's his face, Seth Rogen lets go, and Jay drops him or whatever. And right before he gets eaten by this big demon, a big blue light grabs him and pulls him up to heaven. Okay, now did either one of you want to say anything about this scene before we talk about heaven?
No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they make it to heaven and they're dressed in all white and silver or whatever, which by the way, Seth Rogen looks like such an asshole Jew. He's got the jogging suit on. I'm like, fuck you with your
But Jay's got
Nordstrom shit.
sequins on
Yeah.
his
Oh,
shirt. Like
well, he's got the
he looks yeah,
got the silver on his shoulders or whatever. Yeah, I
it's
thought
like sequins, and I'm like, okay, what is that? How did his hoodie get turned into that?
Right. And I love how Craig the pearly gates open up and he's like, and then Craig's like, "Welcome to heaven, bitch," and everything. I was like, what's going on here? I was like, I don't think you can swear in heaven. That's not how that works, you guys, or whatever. So heaven is just like this big ass party, and I love how he's like, anything you imagine can happen. He imagines a Segway, which I'm like, what's going on here? Segways suck.
He's always wanted to drive one or ride one.
And then Jay imagines the most amazing thing.
The most amazing thing.
I mean, my favorite scene from this movie.
By far.
And that is where the Backstreet Boys show up and you hear
a reunion.
A reunion. And you hear, everybody. I was like, oh my God, I forgot about the scene. I think I'm coming. I'm Danny McBride coming everywhere.
I saw this scene. I went, oh, now I have a bone to pick with Kate because we told her to pick. She asked for a theme when she was on, and we said, pick a theme with a movie with a dance scene in it. And I love the movie that she picked, but I'm like, she could have picked this. This dance scene is way superior.
Yeah. And so they are doing the full Backstreet Backs choreography from this.
And everyone in heaven joins in.
Everybody in heaven, including Seth Rogen and Jay, which I really enjoyed Seth Rogen doing it because like, look at you little fat butterball doing this.
I was like, that took him a month to learn.
For sure. And I just want to
nice. Oh my God. It's not that bad.
Yeah, humble brag, by the way. I know these dance moves. I just want to say I have them memorized in my brain because I was like, hey, my sex shoe. I was doing the whole thing. Anyways,
I can imagine you on the couch doing it as you're doing it.
Well, on the couch, I was standing up doing it. What are you talking about? Yeah, I was doing the whole thing.
I'm surprised you haven't taught the kids how to.
Oh my God, any day now. Like, and I love how they're just like doing their whole thing, and I loved everything about this scene.
Did you guys ever? I think we're with the age group. Did you ever get the? It was still on TV, and it was like commercials, and they would say, "Hey, this is how you dance like the backup singers." That song was like #1 on like the cardio thing or whatever, and you could learn to do like the Backstreet Boy moves and stuff. It was like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, all that stuff. You ever remember that?
I remember like Dance Dance Revolution, like the game where you did, but that was different because it wasn't mainstream songs because they weren't going to pay the rights to the music.
Yeah, this was weird. This was like right before legal stuff. Anyway, so like, yeah, you could like learn to dance like the Backstreet Boys back. Yeah.
It's Billy Blaze teaching you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I wish I would have known it because I would have bought it.
Oh my God.
You totally would have.
Yeah.
My mom might still have it in the UP garage.
Oh my God. I love all that stuff and everything. Okay, so that is where the movie ends. They're in heaven dancing to Backstreet Boys, and then the credits roll. All right. Now, I'm going to ask you guys real quick. First off, my first question is, who's your favorite Backstreet Boy? Go, Ryan.
Nick.
Good answer. Vetta.
Perfect.
I don't know.
Yes,
AJ?
you do. AJ, that's a good answer, but Kevin's the correct answer, you guys. Kevin. He's the oldest. He's the hottest. What are you talking about? Anyways.
I have a question for you.
What's your question?
Okay, out of all of the characters in the house, who do you relate with the most?
Ryan, you go first.
Oh, I'm Danny McBride. It's not close.
Danny McBride. Okay, gotcha. All right, Betta, what about you?
Oh, I'm totally Jay.
I'm Jay too. Jay,
no,
100%.
You're not
100% Jay. 100% Jay. Wait, who are you saying is not 100% Jay?
You.
Me or her? Her. Me or her?
Matt.
You.
I think
Matt's Craig.
I'm Craig.
Honestly, you know what's funny? I think Matt.
You're gonna say Jonah Hill, aren't you?
I think Matt is like, hey, how's it going? And then he goes to his bed at night. He's like, I fucking hate this person.
I mean, that is true. That is very true. That is very true. That is very true. I do. There are people I'm nice to that I absolutely hate.
I might be one of them. Like,
no, you wouldn't be here if I hated you. I'd be like, I don't want you near me on my off time. Okay, so all right.
I love that you thought you were Jay, by the way, because you.
I am Jay, fuckers.
You don't walk into a place that you don't like. You would just be like, no, I'm not going. Like, good
That
luck.
is a good point too. I'm not going. I'm not going.
See, and
Okay.
I'd talk myself into it. I'd be like, okay, I'll go. 10 minutes, 10
Right,
minutes.
right.
And then I'd get there and I'm just like, fine, whatever. I'm having fun now. I'm just
Yes,
doing this. Let's just do this.
exactly. Matt would never be that guy.
No.
Matt would
He'd
never
be
be
like,
like,
we're
let's go.
leaving.
You
He'd
know,
be the friend that would come up to me and go, we're leaving. And I go, we are? Are you sure they're
I
not going to
would
be mad
stay
at
for a
us?
hot minute.
And he'd be
no,
like,
you
no,
wouldn't.
we've been
No,
here
you
long
wouldn't.
enough. We're
Not if you
leaving.
don't like it. Not if you don't like it. Like, if you
So
think there's possibilities, you're like, okay,
I love how you guys are telling me how myself, telling me about myself. Fuck you
but we're
guys.
right
Hey,
about
I
it.
love
We're
that
right
you
about
think
it.
you're Jay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love it too.
yeah.
I think it's funny.
All right,
Like,
well, this podcast is over. Anyways, so now next questions, fuck faces. Okay, last questions. Last questions is overall, what'd you think about this movie? If you have any last things to say, and would you recommend? Ryan, go ahead.
yes, both times. Like, I agree with you. Like, it's kind of scary to think that without the big, like, enormous contusion that was coming out for an exorcism and stuff, or like how you said, like the devil dogs, if you don't see them, like you're pretty close to having like a pretty intense, like weird conversation about like how crazy would that be if that happened, but it went like a little too comical. But still, like you know what you're in for. I think it's fun. It's like a peek behind the curtain. Be like, okay, maybe they do act like that behind the curtain. You never know. But
Betta, what about you?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, it's so stupid. It's funny, and I love it for that. So I definitely recommend it. I mean, if you can take an edible, that'll make it better. Have a couple cocktails too. Why not? Yeah,
Don't do
definitely
that.
watch it. No, don't mix
Don't.
the
Yeah, don't
edible
do it. I
and the
did that. I
cocktails.
did that. It
Pick
doesn't
one
work
or
out.
the
It doesn't
other.
work out very well.
Unless you're used to it and it's something you're accustomed to. If you're not accustomed to it, one or the other, and only in states where it's
Yeah, yeah,
legal.
yeah. I'll tell a quick story. Okay, so I did edibles one time and I drank and everything. So me and my
I
wife for
love
our
this story.
anniversary. Okay, so she got
for
these.
your anniversary,
Yeah, for our anniversary, we were like, let's do edibles and everything. And I was like, yeah, let's do it, dude. I'm down. I'm down with the sickness. So she got like, and they were M&Ms. They were like M&Ms or whatever. So I took 5 at first, and I was like, I'm not feeling fucking.
And he doesn't know what milligram they are. I've
I
asked him a
don't know.
bazillion
I
times
don't
if he
know.
knows what
I still
milligram.
don't. I still don't know. But
So
it
in
was
my mind, they're at least 2.5 to 5
yeah.
milligrams.
at least.
So I take
Yeah.
5 of them, right? And I'm drinking at the
Oh
same time, and I'm like,
God.
I don't feel fucking anything. I was like, watch, I'm the one person that doesn't feel anything from these fucking edibles, right? So then my wife, she's like, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm gonna go to bed. So she goes to bed. I was like, I'm gonna stay up. Well, she
Which
leaves
is a sign she didn't have enough.
yeah. So
Right.
so I'm
Right.
so I'm sitting there, I'm watching TV, drinking, and I'm like, when I drink, I get the munchies. Or I like to nosh and everything. So I start eating the M&M edibles because I'm like, this is like candy.
No.
So this is like
Yeah,
candy.
so you've got to figure when he's
So
done, he's eaten maybe 300 milligrams
whatever.
because
So
he eats the
my
whole bag.
God, man.
so I'm watching at the time I'm watching
Project Runway.
Project Runway.
Okay.
So I'm watching Project Runway. All
Just
of a sudden,
stone on your mind.
all of a sudden, Tim Gunn is in my living room. And he's all like, make it work. I'm like, I'm gonna make it work, Tim Gunn. I'm gonna make it work. What am I gonna work right
I got
now?
my tape measure.
Like he is in my living room talking to me, like sitting next to me on my couch, like, hey, Matt, make it work. I'm like, I'm gonna make it work, Tim Gunn. I'm gonna totally make it work and everything. So I was like, we need to
my
regulate that shit from now on because
Were we at your house?
I was at my house. Yeah, thank God.
Thank God. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
so yeah, it's like yeah. So that's my story. Okay, so now back to our question. I thought that this movie was really funny. In terms of its ridiculousness, just like I didn't think it was practical in its, but at the same time, that's not what you watch a movie like this for. You're not like, I don't need a realistic depiction of the end of
This
the
isn't
world.
based on a true story, so it can have
Exactly.
shenanigans.
Exactly. But I would recommend this movie just because it's a fun time, especially if you're seeing it for the first time. I remember the first time I saw this movie, I laughed so hard. Not so much this time around because I knew what was coming. Like I remember the big 10-inch schlong from the devil. So I was like, it's fine. But this movie was still fun. Okay, is there anything else you guys want to mention before we wrap this sucker up?
Nope.
Ryan? All
I,
right.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for listening. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at BS Drunk Pod to stay updated. Now, if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review, guys. It really helps us out a lot, and we really appreciate it. You have no idea how much it helps us out. We also will be posting the video version of this to our YouTube channel, like I mentioned before. So be sure to subscribe to us on there and hit that like button, you guys. That helps us out too. And that's at YouTube at BS Drunk Movie Reviews. Also, you guys, we do have a Patreon if you guys are interested in that sort of thing, with plenty of different levels to suit any needs that you might have. But what we do there is we review a series. Like we've done Jurassic Park, the Bring It On series, Scream, all that good stuff and everything. So go check it out if you're interested in that. And the link over that will be in the description down below. But most importantly, you guys, please don't forget to drink, recap, review, and repeat. Bye, you
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Bye.